third video of the week is the upperweights.
The big guys.
The big guys. And just to, in case you haven't watched the first two videos, just to give you the rundown. This Saturday, October 1st, 7th annual Grappler Fall Classic. It's going down. Battle Creek, Michigan. We got guys coming from all over the country. It's going to be better than ever every year. This tournament seems like it's a little bit better, a little bit better.
Coverage gets better, talent gets better. I think we get better at running it every single year, so there's lots of reasons to be there.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great tournament. For some reason, you can't be there to watch it. Everything is going to be live online on Track Wrestling. We're doing every match, every mat will be streamed live. In addition, the finals, the elite finals, are going to be featured final on TrackCast. They're going to have multiple camera angles. We're going to have mat side commentating. Steve's going to be doing post-match interviews. It's going to be awesome. In case you guys are like lost and you don't know who we are, Tony Greathouse, GFC tournament director, also started this Michigan Grappler thing a while back. And Steve Wodzinski, who's been the ranking man for the better part of the last decade. He knows kids in Michigan better than anybody, and he also knows kids from around the country better than most. So we're going to do our best to give you a preview of the upper weights, the last 5 weights, 160 through heavyweight. We're going to give you kind of a rundown of who's there. We're not going to mention every kid. If you want to see every single name, the entry list posted online. Also, the seeds are posted online, so you can go on and see the seeds. Know that the seeds are probably going to change. It just happens. People don't show up.
Right,
people don't make
weights.
weight. You know, whatever. Things happen. So don't be locked in on those seeds because they're going to change a little bit. But without further ado, let's start it out. We got the first weight of this video is 160 pounds.
This is an awesome weight class. We got depth and firepower. Looking at the top of it, returning Grappler Fall Classic champion Nick Cusis, a 3-time Division I Ohio State runner-up. You got a kid like Ryan Thomas at St. Paris Graham, 3rd in Ohio Division II. Brad Laughlin, 3rd in Indiana, single state. Got a kid like Robert Patrick, who's been in the Pennsylvania State Finals before. Hunter Gasper from Michigan, the highest ranked Michigan kid or highest seeded Michigan kid here. He's a former state champ. Kyle Hatch, multi-time placer, Indiana. I'll let Tony keep it going, but there's some really good talent at the top of this chart.
Yeah, you know, this weight class is super deep, and honestly, it's probably the deepest weight class that we've seen in the upper weights from, you know, like 60 on up.
In a while.
Probably since that one crazy
the famous year of 171,
we had
yeah.
Mark Hall, Fox
Jordan
Baldwin.
Cooks,
Yeah, it was nuts. And this is probably, you know, this obviously doesn't have quite the headline talent that weight class had, but depth-wise, it's right up there. And, you know, it keeps going. You got Lane Allen, who was top 4 in the state.
Dangerous.
Matt Heaps, who was 6th in D1 last year. Matt Heaps is crazy good. He's really good. He wrestles well from all positions, and he's good on top, so college riding time is really going to help him out. Shane Gant, 6th in the state in Wisconsin. Dylan
Lucas
Terrence.
McFarland took 3rd in Fargo a summer ago. And lots of talent. You got a Pennsylvania State qualifier, Michael Lineman, Indiana State qualifier, and Oscar Cash.
Michael Lineman is a 3-time Pennsylvania State qualifier.
That's tough.
That's pretty legit. You got Vernanza from Florida, who's state placer. So yeah, this weight is really good from top to bottom. Top 15 guys are really good. So we're going to see great matches from the beginning on. And that's one of the things that's cool about this year now with the varsity division and the elite division is the brackets for the elite division are going to be a little bit smaller than they've been in the past. But it's like round of 16.
The pacing is going to be way better, way more fan friendly.
You better tune in early because there's going to be some awesome matches right from the get-go. But I think, you know, really the top of this weight, you got Nick Cusis, 3-time state runner-up. That's pretty crazy. I mean, he's really good. He was a big surpriser last year. Really surprised us winning this tournament. He looked really good. Ryan Thomas, Jordan Train out of Ohio. He's been 3rd in the state twice in Ohio. You know, those Graham guys, like you can never overlook those guys because they don't wrestle a ton of tournaments, like off-season tournaments, but they're all really tough, really good.
It's always exciting to watch those guys in the fall because, like, I feel like since the last time I've seen them, they're always like 20 pounds heavier and like way better.
Like Ryan Thomas was like 132 last year, and now he's at 160. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these guys have developed. Brad Laughlin was great here last year. He just won the Indiana Mat preseason open. And then Robert Patrick was a UWW cadet freestyle All-American last year. I mean, so we got some crazy talent, and it's a tough weight to pick. But I'm gonna kind of go kind of with a little bit of a maybe an outlandish choice. I'm gonna pick the 4 seed out of Pennsylvania, Robert Patrick, who I want to say if he wins it, he'll be the first ever Pennsylvania champ.
I think you're right on that. Gage Curry was a runner-up last year.
Lost last year.
I think you're right. I'm really back and forth. I narrowed it down to the two Ohio guys, and Cusis and Thomas. And my gut's kind of telling me Thomas, but Cusis impressed me so much last year. I really like that kid, so I'm going with Cusis to repeat.
Not a bad pick. He's really tough. And it's going to be really fun to watch those quarterfinals and those semifinal matches because the top 4 guys, top 5 to the top 5 guys, really good credentials, and they could lose.
Right, yeah, 100%.
Like, the 7, 8, 9, 10, someone in there could squeak in.
Oh, yeah, have Lucas McFarland.
Yeah, if seeds hold, you're going to have Kyle Hatch, Lucas McFarland in the round of 16. Man, it's going to be crazy. So, 160 is going to be a good one. Next one's going to be a good one, too, 171. Top seed, he was a GFC runner-up last year. He lost to Brandon Whitman in the finals, but he built off that tournament, Cash Thompson. He went on to win the D3
Division 3 state champion.
Kind of came out of nowhere, I felt like, last year after the GFC.
Never placed before last year.
So he really used the GFC as his springboard last year. Now he's coming back as a senior, and he's looking to really kind of solidify himself as the real deal. And there's a great list of people underneath him that are going to challenge Thompson for the title, and I'll let Steve kind of run through those guys.
Yeah, Colin Lieber, Croswell Lexington, kind of off the radar kid I've really liked for years now. He was a Division 2 state runner-up as a freshman and Division 3 state runner-up last year. He's all the way to 171. I think he started his career at like 130, 135. I like Colin Lieber a lot. Ashton Eiler of Ohio, not super familiar, but top 2 kid in Division 6. Got a kid like Zach Braunagel. We talked about his brother earlier. He's a tough kid, 5th in Illinois. You got a kid like Nino Bastianelli, who's started his career at 112 all the way up at 171 now. He's a 3-time Division 2 state placer, going to be a 4-timer or 4-time placer.
Yeah, when I saw his name on the entry list, I thought that was a typo. Yeah. 171, he must be huge.
Yeah, and the last kid I'll mention probably is Drake Powell. He's only a sophomore last year, took 7th in Division 2. Really good athlete kid that I'm really high on. He could be somebody who really takes the leap to the next level this year in Michigan.
Another guy that I want to mention is the first ever international entry that we've had at the Grappler Fall Classic. He's officially listed from Florida, but he's Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie, and I'm probably going to just tear up this name. Ronnie Gerboni, I think is how you say it. But he's a multiple-time Pan Am medalist. He's wrestled in Fargo before, never placed, but he's won a lot of matches.
Yep.
He's represented Puerto Rico in Fargo.
It's really cool.
We got a little Puerto Rican flavor coming to the GFC, so he's going to be in the mix. But this weight class, honestly, I think that this is a weight that we might see some fireworks, and might see some surprises, but I'm really leaning towards Cash Thompson. I'm just going to write Cash Money.
Cash Money. See if you make that as a dollar sign. I like this.
Oh, that would have been cool. Cash Money's my guy at 171.
I'll go with my guy Colin Lieber. Really high on him. Have been for a long time. I think this is going to be a breakout weekend for him.
189. This is, so 189, I mean, once we get up to these top weights, 189, 215 heavy, it's pretty standard, and it's like really all preseason national tournaments that you look at, that these weights are a little bit thinner. There's
for sure. A lot of football players. And
guys playing football, and so that's kind of
the depth isn't there. The star power is, though. 100%.
Absolutely. What we lack in depth, we make up for in the top few guys are really, really good, and that starts right out with Cordell Norfleet.
Love Cordell Norfleet.
Beast. I'm so happy.
GFC veteran. Very excited to have him back. Harvey Twisters, big fan.
Won the 2A state title last year. He's about as physically scary of a 189 pounder that I think you're ever
I remember him like back when he was like an 8th grader in this tournament wrestling Bailey Jack down to the wire. I think he was a defending state champ at the time. So it makes me feel old seeing how big and scary Cordell Norfleet is now.
Kavan Sarver from Ohio.
Stud.
Really excited about him. Another Graham guy who's a beast. Josiah Gitman is going to look to get some. He's from St. Thomas Aquinas. He's a guy who's really, really intriguing to watch. I talked to some of the coaches down there from Florida, and he like just started wrestling. Like I want to say he started in like 9th grade. I might be wrong, but he hasn't been wrestling very long. Won the state title as a junior last year, so he's got to be. I mean, I haven't seen him wrestle, but I feel like he's got to be just like freakishly athletic.
You know, a lot of room to improve.
So I'm really excited to see him, wrestle nationally, see how he does. Jared Paul was 3rd in D1 in Ohio last year.
4 seed. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
And I'm pretty sure he was 4th at like 145, 152. Like he was like a smaller
might have been
guy.
160.
Yeah, 160. So he's put on weight, and a lot of times when you see those smaller guys get bigger, they're really exciting to watch. Big guys, you know
for sure.
Will Feldkamp really came on last year, took 4th. Bo Yinneman from Wisconsin was a state qualifier. Nick Brandt, who's been a hair away from making the state tournament a couple years in a row. Kid's really tough. Placed at this tournament last year. So like I said, we don't have a gazillion guys like we do at some of the other weights.
The guys we have are top
But
notch.
there is some top-tier talent. So, Steve, who you picking?
Talked about it. Huge Cordell Norfleet fan. Have been since before he even got to high school. Really like a lot of the guys on this list. Those top 4, I think, are all, no one's going to be surprised if Jared Ball, Kavan Sarver, Josiah Gitman walk out of this tournament. But my pick is Cordell Norfleet.
So I'm going to give you the crystal ball prediction on what's going to happen. And there's a 50-50 chance that I'm totally wrong. There's a good chance that you're totally right and Cordell Norfleet wins this thing. But here's what I'm going to say. Semifinals, Josiah Gitman, Kavan Sarver is going to be a bloodbath.
It's going to be for sure.
Gitman's going to come out.
He's going to get some.
And then Gitman is going to just totally just go off in the finals. And he's going to get some. And he's going to knock off Norfleet and win this thing, which would give St. Thomas Aquinas, if Aronoff wins, it would give St. Thomas Aquinas the
that they had 2
potential.
champs before?
I don't think so. Aronoff was their first champ, I believe.
Yeah.
So this would give them a chance to have 2 champs. St. Thomas Aquinas, who brings a bunch of kids every year down from South Florida. Anyways, but either way, 189. In the beginning of the day, there won't be much to watch at 189 because I don't even think they're going to have a round of 32. They'll only have a couple matches in the round of 16. But when we get to the quarters, semis, and finals, 189 is going to be really
For
fun.
sure. And speaking of quarterfinals, we are going to have some awesome quarterfinals at 215. We have 8 guys seated here, and I'm like really high on every single one of them. Looking at our top 8 at 215, our number 1 seed, Ryan Vasebinder, 3rd in Division II, wrestled a awesome match against Max Dean last year in the regional finals. I mean, he's right there. He's a state title favorite for sure. Dieta Drayton, 3rd in 3A last year, Illinois, state title favorite this year. Eli Bolton, returning state runner-up, going to be a state title favorite this year. And Zach Kramer, Division I state placer, going to be in the mix to win a state title this year. Trevor Piggott, Division II state placer. Ronald Rowland is a 2-time Division I state qualifier at 215. Really big, strong kid. You got David Griffith, 2A state qualifier in Illinois, and Jawan Pete, total dark horse. He kind of didn't have the greatest end to his season last year, but I mean, he wrestled at a state placer level all last year.
He's going to be
really
right
good
in the mix this year.
for sure.
Division I. So either way you look at it, you got 8 guys who honestly are probably all going to be state placers this year.
Yeah, and like, would it blow your mind if Jawan Pete hangs right there with Ryan Vasebinder in the 1-8 match? Like,
Might not.
Right. So it's going to be an awesome weight.
Yeah, you're right. Quarterfinals are going to be really good at this weight. I'm going to go with the safe pick, and that's Ryan Vasebinder. Dude is like really athletic, wrestles really well for a big guy. And like you said, he's one of those guys, like there's him and like 3 or 4 other guys at 215. Well, he might go 89, I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever weight he goes, there's him and about 3 or 4 other guys that are like legit state title contenders. He very well could be a state champ this year. I think he's also going to be a pretty good college wrestler. 'Cause
Yeah,
wrestles.
I 100%
And,
agree.
I really like him. I'm going with Vasebinder.
This is tough because I like so many of these guys so much, but the guy who I'm actually probably the least familiar with is the guy I'm going to go with. He looks like a force to be reckoned with, and the little I've seen of him has got a really impressive resume, and that is Dieta Drayton out of Illinois.
Illinois is bringing heat this year.
Yeah.
You're going 89 and 215 Illinois.
I know, I've had a lot of Illinois picks today.
It's the Chicago. All right, last but certainly not least, the big guys. And, true to form, not a ton of heavyweights, but this is another, we had a pretty good heavyweight crop last year.
5 really good ones.
And we got another good one this year. 5 guys that were state qualifiers, 4 guys that were state placers last year, including 3 former state runner-up.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. And Patrick DePazza, who didn't he not lose till the state tournament?
I think he went into states 49-0 last year, and then he had, 2 really good losses. I think he lost to Jacob Nagy in his 3rd place match from St. John's, who was a bear. So, Patrick DiPiazza, for sure, a state title favorite this year in Division II.
Chase Beard was state runner-up 2 years ago at 215.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys to really watch for last year, and then he got hurt, missed the season.
Yeah, and it's been fun watching him. He came in, I think, as a 60-pounder his freshman year, and he's really grown into a heavyweight. So, bummer not having him at the state tournament last year. Look forward to watching him get back at it this year as a heavyweight.
Devin Kozel's a stud. He's
Yeah, I
been
think
good
he
since
also
was
came
in
into the
middle
state
school.
tournament undefeated last year. I want to say his only loss last year was the state finals.
And then Logan Kennedy, state runner-up.
Yeah, he'll headlock anyone. And then Luke Trump is a kid who I think he was ranked like top 5 at heavyweight all last year and dropped to 215. Had a tough draw at that place, but Luke Trump, he'll keep it close with anybody. He's smart, being the 215-pounder wrestling up at heavyweight. You kind of get really savvy because you have to learn how to make up for the weight difference. So I think he could be a surprise for sure. I see that Tony is going with Chase Beard. My pick is going to be out of Cedar Springs, Michigan, Patrick DiPiazza.
I really like Beard. I think he's coming in hungry. He was hurt last year. So I think he's going to come in this year with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, ready to go. And I like that he was a little guy who got bigger. He wrestles a little bit better than
For
a
sure.
lot of heavyweights you'll see. So I really like him. He's my guy to win it. I think either way though, we're gonna have I think it's gonna be Beard and DiPiazza in the finals.
I think so.
it's gonna be a pretty good finals match.
For
Last
sure.
year, It was Conquest and John Morris in the 285 finals.
Yeah, from Carlton Airport.
And it was like an 8 overtime, nail biter.
Yeah.
And I think this year that won't happen. I think this year these guys
I
are
think
going
you
to
can open it up.
points.
I'm with you.
So I think it'll be a good one. But they're all going to be good. You got to make sure you tune in. This is a year you do not want to miss.
For sure.
And it's a year that's really easy to make sure you don't miss because the coverage is going to be better than ever.
Yeah.
Every single match is going to be live. The finals are going to be off the hook.
And I'm just gonna say, if you're somebody that like tuned in like 5 years ago to the live feed over here in Tecumseh and like somebody's back was blocking it and you like haven't checked it back, like seriously, please check out the live feed. It's so much better than it used to be. It's like crystal clear, moves super fast. Give the live feed a chance.
Yeah, 5 years ago it was literally my like 1982 Dell computer
Right.
with a fire wire and some like old camera that was like had like a video there.
Right.
It was the worst live feed you've ever seen. So we got Track Wrestling to take care of that for us. So it's a lot better now, and it's going to be sweet. Make sure also check out the guys who are there if you're at the tournament. But don't forget to stop by the Wrestling Addicts booth. They're our title sponsor, and I dropped my paper. They're our title sponsor, and they've got some awesome gear. I mean, this was the tournament shirt last year, but this year they got some really awesome gear. The finalists are getting 2-piece uniforms for the high school division. Every champ from middle school, elementary, and the elite division get a fully sublimated quarter zip. They're sweet.
Yeah.
They're awesome. They're like, stuff all over them. They're really cool. But they're gonna have a ton of stuff too. And if you got, if you need stuff before the season starts, Wrestling Addicts is the place to go. They get it to you quick. They have great prices, and they have a really good selection of different stuff that they can do. Based right out of here, out of Lowell, Michigan, they'll take care of you. They've been a really loyal sponsor to the Grappler Fall Classic
Nothing but good things to say about
Since-
people at Wrestling Addicts.
since day one. So that's all for us. We look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday at the GFC. Make sure you show up. Make sure you're ready to rock. Make sure you get some. And if you're not there, make sure you tune in and watch the live feeds. See you guys Saturday.